Alright, so right now I run a multi-million-dollar business, and this is how I went from broke to billionaire. Just kidding. I am not a billionaire, but I have built multiple seven-figure businesses from scratch, and today we are talking about the surprising habits that took me from broke to making over $1 million per year. I have also put together for you a free guide that will give you the insights and knowledge you need in order to have that wealth mindset and even acquire it. The guide is called the 7-Day Wealth and Success Blueprint. The link is in the description below. I was in a really tough spot. I remember my first couple years out of college. When I graduated in 2013, I moved to San Francisco, and I was working for a major tech company, and I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I was like, man, I'm working 80 hours a week. This job seems great, but where's my money going? I just got really curious about personal finance, and I started looking into what were my expenses. Where was my money going, and then trying to cut back on those expenses, and then eventually realizing that if I could cut back on my expenses and then make more money, I could actually become financially free. So this video is all about how I did exactly that. Let's get into it. So this first thing is going to seem kind of silly and maybe even a little bit weird, but it is something that completely changed the way that I viewed money. And it was one of the biggest factors in me being able to go from broke to making over $1 million per year. So when I was in college, I had an odd habit of collecting bottle caps. And I would collect these bottle caps and I would arrange them in different patterns and designs. And I even made a couple $1,000s selling some of these bottle cap designs to galleries around the country. It sounds silly, and it kind of is. But what I learned from doing this is that things have value, even if they do not seem valuable at first glance. A lot of people see trash, and they do not see value in it. But if you look hard enough, or you can find creative ways to use it, then things that might seem worthless can actually be really valuable. For example, when I started my first business in college, it was reselling textbooks online, and everybody thought I was crazy because they said, like, Matt, you can't make any money reselling textbooks online. There's already too much competition. It's super saturated. But I saw opportunity there because I saw that other students were selling their used textbooks for ridiculously high prices, and I thought, hey, maybe I can come in and offer a better customer service experience and undercut them and offer lower prices, but still make a profit margin. And that's exactly what I did and ended up making a few $100,000 that way. Another example is when I started my second business, which was an e-commerce store selling phone cases and accessories. Everybody told me that I couldn't do it because it was super competitive. Shipping overseas was difficult. There were lots of problems that they saw. But instead of seeing those as problems, I saw those as opportunities too. Differentiate myself and offer a better customer service experience, and by doing exactly that, I turned that into a 7-figure business. Point is, I think that it's really important to not only focus on things that are obviously valuable, but also to look at things that might seem worthless, and try to figure out creative ways that you can add value to them. If you do this, you will always have an endless stream of business ideas that other people have not thought of. And that is going to help you to build wealth faster than almost anybody else. Okay, so this next thing is something that I still do every single day, and it completely changed the way that I view money, and it's something that has helped me grow my income every single year since I discovered it. So when I was in college, I heard about this book called The Millionaire. Next door, and it basically talks about how most millionaires are not the people that you think they are. They're not flashy, they're not driving Lamborghinis. In fact, most millionaires are regular, everyday people who live well below their means and invest the rest. When I read that, I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. How can someone be a millionaire but live below their means? But after reading through this book, I realized that the best way to build wealth is not by spending tons of money trying to impress people, but instead by living below your means and investing the difference. So now whenever I think about buying something expensive, I ask myself, is this purchase going to help me make more money? Or is it going to cost me more money? And if it's going to cost me more money, then I usually don't buy it.
I know.
This doesn't mean that I never buy nice things. In fact, I probably spend more money on travel than most people I know. But before I travel, I ask myself, will this experience help me make more money? Or will it cost me more money? And if it's going to help me make more money, then I'll go ahead and do it because I believe that investing in yourself and experiences can be extremely valuable. By following this rule, I've been able to grow my income every single year since I discovered it. Okay, so this next one is something that I learned way too late, and it took me a long time to learn this lesson. But once I did, it completely changed the way that I ran my business. So I used to work super hard, and I would put in 16, 18-hour days at my job, and then I would come home and work another 4 or 5 hours on my side hustles, and I thought that this was the only way to make progress and to be successful. But I quickly burned out, and I realized that this was not sustainable long term. So I started to research what other successful entrepreneurs were doing, and I found that they were all doing something called deep work. So deep work is this idea that you should set aside blocks of time during the day where you turn off all distractions and just focus on the most important tasks that will move the needle forward in your business. So I started implementing this into my daily routine, and I would set aside 2 or 3 hours every single day where I would turn off my phone. I would close all of my email tabs, and I would just focus on the most important task that would move the needle forward in my business. This completely changed the way that I worked, and I was able to accomplish way more in less time, and I did not burn out nearly as quickly. So if you want to accomplish more and make real progress towards your goals, I highly recommend implementing deep work into your daily routine. Alright, so the last thing that I want to talk about is something that completely changed my mindset when it came to money, and it is one of the most important things that I learned in my entire journey from broke to making over $1 million per year. So when I was first starting out in business, I used to think that money was the most important thing in the world. Like I thought that if I could just make a ton of money, then everything in my life would be perfect. But I quickly learned that this was not true because I was working 16, 18-hour days. I was sacrificing all of my time with friends and family, and I was missing out on important life events just to make a little bit more money. So I started to realize that money is just a tool, and it's not the end-all be-all that I thought it was. And if you can shift your mindset to think of money as just a tool, it will completely change the way that you approach money in business. So now, when I think about money, I think of it as a tool that can be used to buy back time and to buy back freedom. And that's what I really value more than anything else. So those are the 4 things that helped me go from broke to making over $1 million per year. And I hope that they can help you on your journey as well. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button. Do not forget to check out the free guide I mentioned earlier. Link in the description below. See you in the next one. Peace.